All right, we're breaking down a chapter from Jake Cusack's book, Build Your AI Second Brain, which was published by Deepify Academy. This first chapter kicks off with a pretty bold title, Your Brain Wasn't Built for This. So let's dive into what that actually means. You know that feeling, right? It's 11 o'clock at night, you're just trying to wind down, and bam, your brain decides now is the perfect time to play a highlight reel of every email you forgot to send, every task you didn't finish, and that one brilliant idea you had in the shower. It's this constant hum of stuff you haven't written down, and you just know it's going to be gone by morning.
And here's the first big takeaway. That feeling, it's not a personal failure. Seriously, you're not lazy, you're not disorganized. It's your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do. The problem is, it's operating in a world it was never, ever designed for.
So what is our brain's real job then? This gets right to the heart of the issue. For way too long, we've been using our most powerful tool for the completely wrong kind of work. We've been treating it like a hard drive when it was built to be a thinker. Think about this number for a second. 4 to 7. That's it. That's the maximum number of items your brain can juggle in its working memory at any given time. It's no accident that old phone numbers were about that long. It's also why you can walk into a room with a purpose and then just stand there, totally blank. Your brain just dropped one of the balls it was juggling. And this is the fundamental mismatch right here. Your brain is a world-class thinker. It is amazing at spotting patterns, at being creative, at solving complex problems. But asking it to reliably store and retrieve information, that's what a computer is for. Every single time you force your brain to remember a random password or a grocery list, you're paying this hidden mental tax. And that mental tax, well, it has a name and it has some very real consequences. Psychologists call it the cost of open loops. It's the hidden price we're all paying for our mental clutter. So what is an open loop? Simple. It's any task, commitment, or thought that your brain has latched onto but knows isn't finished or stored somewhere safe. It's all that unfinished business that's just buzzing around in the back of your mind, and let me tell you, it is absolutely exhausting. And these things aren't just an abstract idea, they show up in very real ways. You see it in your relationships, like when you forget something important your partner asked you to do. You see it at work when you spot a potential problem, but then forget to actually follow up on it. And you feel it, personally, as that low-grade, constant anxiety, that nagging feeling of, wait, am I forgetting something? Yeah, you probably are. Now, if you're like most people, you've tried to fix this. You've downloaded the productivity apps, you've bought the fancy planners, you've started the journals, and for most of us, they work for, a week? Maybe 2? Then we fall off. The main thing to get here is that this is not your fault. It's the system's fault. The reason those traditional systems don't stick is because they're built on a total misunderstanding of how we work. They assume that you have a ton of extra mental energy to organize things at the exact moments when you have the least. When you have a great idea, you have seconds to get it down, not 5 minutes to figure out the perfect folder and tag system for it. And this leads to this really predictable cycle of failure. First, the system asks for too much friction right at the start. Then, you hit the blank page problem. Where on earth does this note even go? And finally, you fall into the maintenance trap, where organizing the system becomes a bigger chore than the actual work you're supposed to be doing. And then, the whole thing just collapses. Okay, but this is where the story gets a lot more hopeful. We are in a completely new era. The tools we have today are fundamentally different than anything we had just a few years ago. So the big question is, what if the system itself did all the heavy lifting for you? Just imagine this for a second. What if you could take any thought, an idea, a task, a random reminder, and just dump it into one single place with zero friction? And then something else automatically sorted it, filed it, and maybe even gave it a title for you? And what if every single morning, instead of facing a giant, overwhelming to-do list, you just got a simple, short message, something that just said, hey, here are the 3 things that actually matter today. How much easier would it be to get started? And this might be the most important part of all. What if life happened? You get busy, you stop using the system for a week, maybe even a month, and it didn't matter. No giant backlog to sort through, no guilt for falling behind. You just pick it up and start again. The system is designed to restart, not to be perfect. That is what a second brain is really all about. It isn't just another fancy notes app. It's a genuine support system that works with your brain's natural strengths instead of fighting against its weaknesses. And you know the best part? The tools to build this are free, they don't require any coding, and they run right in a web browser.
So what does this actually look like when it's built? The book shows you how to set up these exact things, a way to capture any thought in less than 5 seconds, an AI assistant that does all that tedious organizing, a super simple filing system that's impossible to mess up, plus those automated daily and weekly nudges that keep you on track, almost without you even thinking about it.
Which really brings us to the final question, the one to really think about. What could you create? What problems could you solve? What incredible ideas could you bring to life if your mind was finally free to do what it does best? To think, to create, to connect, instead of just trying to remember everything all the time.
So that breakdown comes from Build Your AI Second Brain by Jake Cusack. If you want the full walkthrough with all the prompts and templates to build this whole system for yourself, you can grab the book over at deepify.ai or find it on Amazon and Apple Books.